Because I saw look, the app.
You saw my face just get back fat. Look.
No, it isn't. Whatever. You look beautiful. And by the way, that yellow is just gorgeous.
I did not even comb
Lord.
my hair like this. Hair, look at it. Why is it lumpy
I
right here?
like her. I really
No,
like
she
her.
getting on my nerve.
You don't do that.
Where
I
everybody
guess
at? Oh.
Ryan coming in. Hi, everybody. We're coming in. Let me make sure I go live
Oh,
on my
wait. I didn't know I was
Facebook page
live.
and
I was just
share.
going to talk about
We are
somebody. I'm
live.
so glad I looked up.
We are live, and let me make sure that I let everybody
My glasses,
in.
TK.
Let's see.
Girl, look. This
Yeah,
old
I wanted to wear
look,
my glasses like you tonight. Let's see. Oh, look at you.
they were on my shirt. I'm right here looking for them.
You know what? Okay, edit privacy. Let's
I'm
go
already got
public.
a baritone voice today.
I know my voice came back actually just a few minutes ago. So everybody, they're coming in. They're coming in. I know Ryan should be here soon. We're back. We're back. I like that lipstick on you. That's purple. We should have known, huh?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. All right.
Trying to clean these
Shonda will
glasses
be on
off to see.
comments tonight. Bring everybody in. We're looking forward to a great show. We're gonna get started here in a few. Just trying to see if Ryan is coming in. Shonda, what did you do this weekend? Really, you got to think about it.
No, I gotta think.
It was just yesterday.
Yesterday I did church, and then I went to sleep. What did I do Saturday?
I don't know.
know.
I was texting you all day, but
I've been working out, honey. So I went to the gym Saturday morning because I missed Friday, so I went Saturday instead. Then I came home and I acted like I was cleaning up. So by the time George came home, I feel like I was real busy, but I really only washed the dishes and cleaned the kitchen.
oh.
Girl, I made mop water.
So you pretended like you cleaned up because
I made mop water and Charlie's still sitting over there. I ain't mopped the floor yet. I'm gonna do it tonight.
I hope George listened because I want George to know she was on the phone with me.
He was like, "Baby, you already sick. It's okay. Just take." I said, "Okay, I'm gonna just lay down."
Whatever. But anyways, guys, I'm so glad everybody's. Let's see who's in the comments. People are coming in. Let's see. I see Sarah. You want to bring in that, Shonda? I see Sarah's in the house. Oh my God!
Lord,
my
no.
friend Fred is here.
No,
Fred is here. Oh, we're gonna have a good.
Fred has been trying to get on this show. I'm telling you now and live, he is banned from Talk My. He cannot.
Don't do that to Fred. Fred, they say you're banned.
Or nothing.
Fred, we can't ban you. You are not banned for being on this show. Let's see who else is in before we go.
That's Chandra. Hi, Chandra. She said hi again on the right side.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited. Come on in because we have a great show. Yes.
We have Anaya Brown. Good evening.
Good evening. Come on in, everybody. That is awesome.
We got Brittany Bell. Hey, Brittany Bell.
Yes. I'll see Brittany in like 2 weeks.
We have a first-time watcher, Cynthia Lee Bay. So we got to be on our best behavior.
Yeah. We got to be nice tonight. We got to be nice tonight.
Best behavior.
Well, everybody, I cannot listen. I'm ready to get this show on the go. Let me first set it up. What was that? Like 2 weeks ago, Shonda was the host, and she wanted to bring on the topic dating. What is it like dating now versus back in the day? We had a great panel that showed up, and the audience, backed by popular demand, you guys wanted them to come back. So I want you to know that they are back tonight, including one more special person. I can't wait to bring them in. Let's get started, y'all. Let's go. Yes. Welcome back to another great episode of Talk Miami. I am your girl, TK Owens. and I have the pleasure of being your host tonight. I want to introduce the lady that is in the beautiful yellow shirt. For all of our listeners, Shonda, can you please introduce yourself?
Good evening. Before I do you read that comment and let that marinate while I do this?
What's that? Fred said Ted and I would like to come on. No, Fred.
Right.
Ponga, you get Fred, please. Wait till Ponga comes back. No, Fred.
We probably should have had him on this dating show. He would have been the comedian.
Exactly. Ryan is here. So I'll pass it to you, Shonda, and then you can pass it down.
Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Shonda Roberts. No, I am the Dr. Shonda Roberts. I am back tonight. I'm a little hoarse. I've been getting over an allergy attack. Plus, I sang a lot yesterday, so I sound a little raspy, but hey, raspy works. I am glad to be back at Talk Miami. I am a co-author, a mother, a wife, entrepreneur, an advocate, and all of the above. I will pass it down to White Chocolate.
Good evening, my fellow whoremongers. Glad to be back this evening. Welcome. See y'all in the chat early. Sorry I was late to the party. Well, something came up, but I'm here. The Ryan David, personal leadership coach, holistic lifestyle coach, psychology professor. Glad to join y'all. Really curious to see what we have in store this evening with a big panel going to be joining us as a continuation of last week.
And you are showing out. That is the word of the day. Whoremonger. Okay, we're going to describe that later on in the show. But without any, let's go ahead, guys. I am so proud and I am honored to welcome back cast for tonight. Let's bring them in. But let me go ahead and say every last one of them that's going to be joining us, starting with the Robbie Joe, Kenny Day, Lynette Brooks, Becky Thomas, and Nicole Moody. Bring them in, Shonda. Bring them in. Bring them in.
Oh, yay. Look at me clapping and not doing my work. About to get stopped.
You see the Velvet on duty. You see Mr. Velvet on duty. Okay, we're going to bring him in. They're coming in, everybody. Bear with us. Yes, all the ladies have on glasses tonight. Lynette, where are your glasses? Look at this. We are professionals.
I'm not.
Tonight.
Yeah, y'all had mommy vibe. Yeah, we're not doing it.
We have a question.
We're not doing that.
Is it a biblical term? Anaya, can you specify it? What do you mean? It's what? Whoremonger or white chocolate? Which one are you talking about?
Neither one of those are biblical terms.
I know,
right? I do have a definition, but we do have the person, Miss Lynette Brooks, that is here that is going to explain her testimony and all of that later on in the show. But you know what, guys? Last time we were here, we will love, the audience wants to know who you are. So let's quickly go around, introduce yourself. It's everybody from Miami. This is Talk Miami. Becky, starting with you, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Becky Thomas. I am a mom of 2 teenagers. I am also an entrepreneur and I am a teacher. I teach music education and I'm a hairstylist and I'm a worship leader. So I do a million things.
I was about to say, girl, you sing and you tear up the house. Don't leave that out.
Yes, I do all those things.
For fun, it would have been great if she said, I live in a van down by the river. That would have been amazing. I don't know if you've seen the SNL skit back in the day.
I mean, I'm in my car, not a van by the river. But
no, it's an SNL skit. Chris Farley was...
Yes. Oh, no, I remember.
And
Ryan, I miss your
Becky,
voice.
you can pass it to the next person over to you.
Oh, we're going to pass it to Miss
Pass
Lynette,
it over.
the beautiful Miss Lynette with that hair girl.
Get there. Okay.
Get it.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lynette Brooks, better known as Lady Speak. I am a mom. I'm a friend. I am a praise and worship singer. I work with foster students, and I will be explaining what a whoremonger is. I've had a lot of experience.
All right, pass it.
I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Velvet on duty.
Well, good evening, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Robbie Joe, but tonight I am in here as Mr. Velvet on duty. I am your content creator extraordinaire by day, but at nighttime, I'm on my Freddy Cruise, you know what I mean? So let's make it a great show. Good to see everybody. We got great energy. I can't wait to get this discussion going. Let's go, people.
Oh,
okay. Before we pass it, Shonda, don't you see a little difference between Robbie Joe from last week to now? Like,
Robbie Joe came with it tonight. You understand
Joe's
me?
all in. He's
He
invested.
is in character.
He's
He about to
there
let
you
y'all
go,
have
Ryan.
it. So, go ahead.
Yes.
He's not studying.
Let's read and respect.
Oh, Mr. Velvet on duty. Oh, this isn't Robbie Joe. Okay, I get it. I get it. Oh, okay. I get it.
No disrespect. No disrespect.
Mr. Velvet on duty, can you pass it down to the lovely lady below you? There. And you are
me? Hi, guys. Hi, TK. That's my best friend, guys.
Girl.
I love you guys. I'm a mom, a friend, a sister, an advocate, an educator, a nurse, and I am just glad to be here. Really, I'm not. I just got back from soccer, and I had no choice but to be here. I love you guys, and I'm excited for tonight. Mwah.
Yes,
Nicole Moody on duty.
Pass it.
Oh, I'm passing it to my. Is that to my left? That's
Nope.
my Kenneth. To my left.
The other side, baby.
Your other left.
You're right. Our left.
Yeah, I'm passing it to Kenneth.
Nicole Moody on duty.
Yo, what's good, everybody? I am here. I am Kenneth J. Jr. As you see, I am the singer, the actor, comedian, the father, the grandfather.
Yeah.
I also work as a garbage man. So if you need something picked up, call me. Don't mean I'm gonna take it home. I'm just gonna pick it up and dump it. But yeah, that's me. I'm all here. I'm ready for this. I'm here to have fun, especially with Miss Lynette, because oh my God, she lit a fire that we need some lighter fluid on. And if y'all ain't ready for this one, get ready.
Y'all better get ready. All right, everybody, let's jump right into it because tonight's topic is, once again, a few weeks ago, we talked about dating, but now we're here for dating part 2. The conversation continues. So now that we are dating, what now is what you guys wanted to know. So I came up with some specific questions. I'm going to ask the questions and I'm going to call on who can answer those questions because we have the men and then we have the women, and which means we have 2 different perspectives. Well, to be honest, we all have probably different perspectives. And then we have Shonda on comments. Shonda, audience, we want you to ask certain questions. If you want to ask any of the panelists tonight a specific question, feel free to put it in the comments. Shonda's going to have some time to go over some of those questions. So let's just jump right into question number 1. So this is what I want to ask
me nothing. I'm here for the comments, honey.
Yes, you're here for the comments. Everyone else is single on this show, but there are those who are in relationships. Let's make that clear. And then some are single. So, but Shonda and I are married, so we can't necessarily answer some of these questions. But hey, we were single at one point in time, so we do have a comment. So my first question is,
I'm sorry, Ms. TK. Who else is in a relationship on here?
Who else besides me?
But of course, I know you are. I mean, who else on the guests?
You
okay,
really? Shonda?
Carry on.
Okay, so now that you are dating someone, right? We're all dating. What happens now? My first question is, I want to hear from all of you. I'm going to go to the women first, and then I'm going to go to the men. Where are you right now in this stage? Are you dating like just to have fun, or are you ready to settle down? That is my question for, let me see. I'm going to go to Becky first. Are you ready to settle down? Are you looking for that one, or you just want to date and have fun?
Honestly, my answer is both. I want to have fun and I want to settle down. Like, I don't think settling down necessarily means that all of a sudden you stop having fun, that you stop being spontaneous. Am I looking for a long-term relationship? Yes, absolutely. Am I looking just to Netflix and chill? I'm good. I have my own account.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. All right. Tonga, serious or casual dating?
Listen, I am looking for serious if the person is ready for me. I know I have a lot of Can I curse on you?
Yes, you can.
I got a lot of shit that goes on in my life. My life is hectic. So if I can find the person that's ready to deal with all my stuff that I deal with 6 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock at night. Y'all know I was late getting on here because I was dropping off at soccer practice. Don't be mad at me. And I got to pick up at 10 o'clock. So I am. My babies are bigger. Before they were younger, but my baby's going to college and my other one's going to 9th grade. So I'm ready.
Okay.
If
Lynette,
it's right.
Casual dating, or are you looking for something serious?
No, honey, I'm going down the hill now. I'm 54. I know who I am. I know what my worth is. And when I date, I'm dating with a purpose. Now, am I out looking? No, but I am receptive to being found. However, I want to have fun while I'm doing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What's your definition of fun, Lynette?
Oh, go ahead.
All things grown, folks, baby.
You can say shit, but I don't know if we can get into that on here.
Right.
Listen, if you have small kids, please put them away. This is
somebody say that at work, TK. Somebody listening at work. We better be on mute.
All right, hey, I'm ready to go to
TK, can I get Lynette to say that one more time? I like what she just said, man. I'm not looking, but what did you say?
I'm receptive to being found.
Man, that is the best way I think you could live your life. Focus on yourself. Maybe you're not out looking for somebody, putting on your energy into finding somebody, but yet you're open if you meet or you interact with somebody. That's amazing. I like that right off the bat.
I like that too. And I share that. I'm glad you brought that up too, Ryan. I share that even with my own daughter. I'm like, you don't have to look for anything. Let him come find you. You are the jewel. And that's how I see it. Let's go over to the men. Mr. Velvet, yourself. Are you casually dating, or are you ready to settle down and looking for something serious?
I'm a second Lynette. Like, I like her answer because I'm on the same tip. You know, I'm vibing. I'm just chilling. I'm replenishing. You know what I mean? The fountain myself. So whoever want to come get wet on that water slide, then so be it. You know.
Oh, okay. All right. Kenneth Day, are you casually dating, or are you looking for something serious to settle down?
I'm just enjoying life right now. You know, when God presents, then I'll be acceptance. Because you can go out here and look for gold and find silver. But you can get glitter and think it's dust, you know. So it's whatever God presents to me that's good. But right now, I enjoy life. God gave me gifts. He gave me talents. I'm trying to put them out there in the open. And whatever God sends my way, I'm good. I'm ready.
So Ryan, the professor, I want to be more specific with you. Let's tackle that. Is dating with a purpose versus casual dating? Where are you right now, and how do you feel about dating with a purpose?
What's crazy though, so this is more personal than it is professor, right? You were just asking about me as an individual. Because I was thinking about the concept of the two different ways you could approach. And I'll just say real quick, I think that there is a different approach, being casual and not having, you know, a serious intention versus having a serious intention. Either way, it really, you're going to have to find the person that fits that mold, because if you're just casual, you're ruling out a lot of people who are serious and have intention, and you're going to bump a lot of heads, and there's going to be a lot of dates that go sideways. So the hard part about being casual, I guess, is finding other people who are just as casual. With me particularly, it's funny because the answer to that question, I swear to you, ever since I was in high school, the answer to that question is always, I've always dated with an intention to be in a relationship. I've never been casual. I've never had a casual mentality. And I think the reason why is because I've always embodied what Becky said, which was, to me, relationships are the most fun. You know, people talk about being single, but I'm looking to be in a relationship where I can have as much fun as when I'm single, plus the benefits of being in a relationship. So I'm just trying to magnify what that's about. I've always had that mentality. And if I'm dating you, understand that's what I'm trying to create, you know, and if you're down with that, we're going to have a blast and we'll probably work out if, you know, and in the process, we're obviously trying to see if we're compatible. So I've always dated with an intention to be more than whatever we were yesterday, but I don't have a destination. I never had a destination per se, just an intention to be serious about that. I never really been casual, because if I'm going to spend time with you, you could call it casual. You could say you're casually dating. You could say you're being casual, but let me tell you something. You only have so much time to spend with people in a day. So if you're spending time with someone, I don't care if it's 2 hours a night, 3 nights a week. If you're spending time with someone, quote, casually, that's time. That's serious to me. So I be careful with that word casual, because it's a slippery slope. You say it's casual, but you're giving a lot of time to this person. And on one hand, that's serious. So I always look at it as, if I'm spending time with you, there's a certain degree of seriousness in that sense. I'm not trying to waste my time. and I'm supposed to be investing in somebody who's going to help make me better, and I want to make you better. So that's just the way I think about it. And if it doesn't work out, I'm okay being single and having fun to see if there's an audition out there for someone to go to that next level. So that's always been my personal mentality.
No, I completely agree with you guys. There is such a thing. There are some people who don't want to get into a serious relationship. Sometimes they're even coming out of a serious relationship and don't want to jump into another one. Sometimes they just want to work on themselves, but go out and have a good time. And so that's what I mean by casual dating, not getting too serious. And then what, dating with the intentions and purpose is that you are looking for someone to spend not necessarily your life with, but to settle down with. So good. Let's move to the next question.
Shonda got a comment. Sure. I was going to just piggyback off what you said after she talks.
Go ahead, Shonda.
I'm not sure we asked this last week.
Go for it.
When you're dating, do you make that known? Do you make that clear? So I'm not saying, listen, if you ain't ready to get married, I don't want to go date number 2. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when the questions come and people ask you, so what are you looking for? Like, do they ask those questions anymore? I don't know, because I haven't dated in a while.
Yes, we talked about this, but I do want. Go ahead.
They do. They do ask those questions. And I mean, I ain't trying to cut nobody off. They do ask those questions. But what some people fail to realize about dating, you want to date your friend.
Yes.
Because with your friend, you have fun.
Right.
And with your friend, you do a lot of things. It's spontaneous happiness. But then when you change friend to a relationship or friend to boyfriend and girlfriend, then there's stipulations, there's rules, and then there's attitudes, and then there's changes, demands, and everything else that come with that. But if you can't still be my friend in a relationship, why should I change my status to just casually dating to a relationship?
Okay, but I have a question. I have an answer to that.
Yeah, go ahead. I had a question too. Go, Shonda.
I spoke to my 24-year-old son today about the same thing, and I said, so this is girl he's been seeing. I'm gonna tell him all his business, but it's a girl he's been seeing. And he said, I said, where you going today? He said he's going to her house. I said, well, when we get to meet her? He said, probably never. I said, why? He said, she's not my girlfriend. I said, oh, does she know that? He said, I said, because you spend a lot of time with her. And that's my thing. She may think she's a girlfriend. Does she know she's only a friend? So when you all are dating, do you make that clear that, hey, I'm having a good time with you. We're going out, we're chilling, whatever, but you're still my friend. And I think that's where the miscommunication comes from. People don't say that and be clear to what the situation is.
Particularly young people, Shonda.
I'll say it again.
Particularly young people. I think as you get older, that becomes clear up front. When you're younger,
look at that.
No.
I'm not saying that they. I'm not saying that they do.
I'm saying jump in.
I'm not saying that they do when you get older. I'm saying that it becomes more important that they do when you get older than it does when you're younger.
Right. Of course, I agree. Right. I'm saying that I think people should be clear. If you're dating, if you're going to have fun, and that's fine, because you should date your friend. You should be friends first.
At 24, do that.
Right.
Yes.
But say that.
I agree. I want to be best friends with the person that I'm with, right? Like if this is super long term. On the other hand, though, I don't need any. I'm Team Drake. No new friends.
No new friends.
Right. I don't need just another guy friend and another guy friend and another guy friend and another guy friend. Because then I have a bunch of guy friends. I don't know where we're at in anything that we're doing because we're just friends and we're just like, I put it out on the table. This is eventually what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a husband.
Right.
That's what I'm looking for.
If your husband can be your best friend,
I'm not for you.
But your husband still can be your best friend. Right?
There's a process to it, meaning we have to be friends. We have to get to know each other. We have to court. We have to do all of these things. But my end goal is already stated before I start the race. My end goal is I want to be a wife. I want to be in a relationship with somebody. If you're not ready to go in this race with me, next, I'm good. I don't need
that. You're going to say something.
That does what I said earlier. It funnels it down and it gets the other people out that don't want that.
Yep.
But then that's what I talked about last week, and this question is going to be for Lynette. Then Lynette, like Shonda is saying, do you sit down and tell that person up front what you want, or do you just sit down and see where it's going first to see if you're going to even, like, I guess my question is, do men, that's going to be your question, Mr. Velvet and Ryan, would that scare you if somebody said what they're looking for and you're like, whoa, I don't even know if this is gonna work. Lynette, you're first. Do you feel like a woman should tell a man up front what they're looking for?
Now, and I used to do that. And the whoremonger that I ran into got that title because for the first time, I said, you know what, I'm just gonna let it, let's just see where it goes. But he came into it. He was older, so I'm thinking, okay, he's settled. He knows what he wants. He pursued me before I knew he was interested. He went to a friend of mine and made his intentions known. And she in turn let him know, listen, she's not on that. Now there was a time I had a mean time. There was a time, and I would be straight up, listen, I'm not looking for anything. I've gone through some things. This is what it is. We just gonna enjoy each other. And when it started getting too deep, I would pull away. And there have been some that I wanted a relationship with, but I've always been upfront. But this time he came with oh, it took me 40 years to meet my soulmate. You're who I want to be with. I was in turn saying what all the barriers were. I want a long-term relationship, but listen, these are things that could hinder that. No, we'll get past it. Oh, I almost said something. So as we're going along, he's leading me to think that we're going on the same path, but you want to jump in other potholes. And when I just asked because he was moving different, he wants a cookie because he told the truth, not looking at whether I asked you or not, you still did it. You don't get an applause because you admit what you did. You could have lied about it. You still did it. That's what I mean by being a whoremonger. Let people know up front what game they're playing, and I'll tell you if I want to be a participant in your game. I'm too old to be playing games, worried about if I got to go to the clinic or, if you over here with Susie. If that's what you want to do, let me decide whether or not that's something I want to do. And I think a lot of times men will feel that if I don't put a label on it, it don't mean nothing. No, baby, because you sleep with me, we go together. You get this, we go together. Yeah, unless we go into it saying we just playing around. And I think men go back to old faithful because she care and she gonna give me what I want, but then they're always trying to look for the bigger prize or they got to have the most toys. Stop playing games because you see how the mental health crisis is higher because y'all driving these women crazy. Just say, listen, we'll be every woman. You got some women that's down with that, but y'all want to play these games and, act like you ready and not you want to be ready over here. And then tomorrow you want to be ready over there. Stop that. That's a whoremonger. You want to play around and line by where you're at. Half of y'all living with somebody, but then when you're not home with her, oh no, I'm a single man. Stop that. Tell the truth. Just take the mask off and be for real.
TK.
Okay, and I'm gonna throw the next one to Ponga before I go to the men. Yes, Ryan.
No, go ahead, Ponga. I was gonna go ahead, Ponga.
Okay, I'm gonna bring it to you, Ryan, right after Ponga. Ponga, we heard from the women, and I get that Nicole Moody on duty. What about if the man came to you, Ponga, and told you what he was looking for, and it didn't align with what you wanted? How do you handle that?
I mean, because unfortunately, I am who I am. I'm not going to change that for anybody. So if you came to, timing is everything. I do believe that. So if you came to me and you're not understanding and ready to deal with what I have going on, I mean, maybe in 20 years, I may look back and say I missed a good one, but my children are my first priority. And like I said last week, Wednesdays and every other weekend, I got
but you're okay, right?
I'm okay with no, I'm not. I'm okay with what?
I mean, like once he tells you, if you guys don't align, do you just scratch it and on to the next, or do you still just date?
Well, it's not on to the next. It's not on to the next because I didn't get married to be divorced. I am somebody who wants to be in a committed relationship, but I also want to be with somebody who understands what where I am and what my life is. And my life are my children. And if you can be a part of that, then we can work through anything and make it work. I'm not saying that it can't work, but you're gonna have to understand what I'm dealing with. And it is very hard. And I understand it's cutthroat because not everybody, as you see, that's why I am single. Not everybody can deal with every Wednesday, every other weekend, maybe a little in between. I got my best friend in the morning that calls me and says, Lord, no wonder why you single. Because I just heard that you just did is crazy. But I'm okay with that. I'm truly okay with that. I have a few more years before my baby boy is away from the nest. I look at my best friend. I look at my other friends who had to wait until their kids were out of the nest to find what they need because their priority were their kids. And I'm okay with that. I'm not in a race. I'm only almost 50. I'm not in a race. Now, if I was 65 or something like that, maybe I would have to, but I'm not in a race.
So Nicole, would you say that by default, your situation, your availability or lack thereof, by default makes you and puts you in a situation where you're not looking for something serious? Because if I'm looking for something serious, I don't know anybody's definition of serious, which is Wednesday and every other Friday or whatever you said your availability is. So do you think that by definition is I'm definitely not looking for anything serious because I don't have serious time for you? You think? Don't you think? I'm wondering what you think about that.
No, I mean, and I get what you're saying, Ryan. And when I say Wednesday and every other weekend, that is the basis. If you can deal with that, and once we understand that, okay, I can sneak in maybe a Tuesday here and
there. So you're okay.
I'm willing. It's not like that's concrete and that is whatever. No, but I do want you to understand coming in because there's people that say, right. I understand that, but then once we get into it, they want to have a movie date for Tuesday.
Fair enough.
And I told you.
We met. Okay. So Nicole, then you're kind of laying out what my point was going to be a second ago, TK, which was she's saying, I think what she's pointing out is there's a timing and there's a time and a place for everything that we're talking about as far as sharing what you're into, what you're after and when. I think that what she's saying is if we meet to initially date and get to know each other, this is my setup. If you're interested, I got you for us, you know what I'm saying, till we get to know each other. And then if I don't say tolerate or put up with that, if they can accommodate that and it works for them and you get to know each other under those parameters and you start to like each other, now it's like, oh, hey, you know what? You're important to me. Let me flex a little bit more. Let's do a Tuesday, which I normally don't do because of X, Y, and Z. But it's initially, I think you don't, to your question, TK and Shonda was talking about, when do you say this? I think that when you first meet somebody, you first see if you like their company just as another human being. And then maybe you have a conversation and maybe it comes up in terms of like, where are you at in your life? And you could probably judge a lot of that by asking questions about past relationships. Hey, what you been through, who you been with? And then that comes up real quick. Yeah, I did that for 7 years, want nothing to do with long-term. Well, you got your answer right now, without asking them what they want. They just told you. So conversations can bring a lot of this to light. And then after you spend time with someone and you start to like them, then you start talking about us. It's not so much what I want, it's what I want with you because now I know you. I think that those things are very important to consider. It's not about like day one or whatever, and real quick while I have the mic and then I'll throw it back to you, TK. I want to just say a couple of things. Somebody said something about got out of a relationship earlier, got out of a serious relationship and then jumping into another one. I just wanted to point out just right now while I have the microphone, anytime you get out of a long-term serious relationship, it's probably best in terms of your emotional and mental health to take some time off and be single, get back in tune with who you are outside of that relationship you were in, because we sometimes take on a lot of who we're in a relationship with, and how you going to go right to the next person when you're bringing a lot of who you were just with that last person into it. So I would advise everybody, best thing you could do when you break up or you get out of a long-term relationship is reconnect with yourself so that the next person that meets you is meeting you and not you and your baggage or your connections from what you just jumped out of that you're trying to, alleviate. That's the first thing I was going to say. And secondly, I was going to say just to Lynette, what she was talking about. I just got to say, not in defense of men, because that's too many men, and I'm not going to defend all men because there's some ass clowns out there that don't deserve to be defended against. But she did make a good point. And what she said was There's a lot of women out here that are making themselves available to play games with. They're cool with that. And I got to be honest with you, what that does for a lot of you good women is it ruins it, because now these ass clowns, these men, they think that now, well, if it works with those 7 over there, let me try it with number 8, and Lynette's number 8, and it ain't going to work with number 8. But it's because it's worked 7 other times. People are going to do what you allow them to do. And if they've been allowed to do it because they've been dating immature girls or girls that just are whatever loose, whatever, that's going to facilitate and condone this behavior. And then they run up against y'all. And of course they're going to try what worked. And then when you don't do what they've always seen, it's like, well, so that's just something else to think about. I was going to say.
No, I love that, Ryan. I do want to jump into another conversation. So I'm going to throw this one at Kenny. Let's talk about dating, right? And here's some expectations. So when you're going out on a date, do you always think that the man should always pay for the bill? Go.
We did this already.
Well, I know, right? Not necessarily. It all depends on the
But
maturity.
not with them, Ryan. Not with them.
I mean, it's the maturity of the two individuals. If I treat on the, can you hear me? Yeah, if I treat you on the first date,
yes, I can hear you,
and we go on the second date, and you decide to say, "Hey, I got it," then we cool with that. You know, it's not always the men's responsibility to pay and to provide. Sometimes that woman can take hold and say, "I got you, boo," and make me feel just as special as she felt the first day. So, you know, it goes 50-50.
TK?
Becky, why that face?
Mr. Velvet, how would you feel?
Go ahead, Becky.
If a woman,
because I'm watching some of the comments too,
expecting you to pay for the meal.
No, it's not necessarily that. My biggest thing is, you know, one of the things that was said was, it depends on who invites.
Did she freeze?
TK got a little delay. Don't worry, she's going through a Wi-Fi thunderstorm over there. We'll figure it out. TK, you want a little delay? Go ahead, Becky. We'll bear with you here.
Depending on, you know, the comment that was made was whoever invited the person on the date.
That comment there?
Yes, that one right there. But a lot of, I'm not going to say all, but a lot of men aren't very good at actually asking out the woman on the date. So if the woman is the one that's posing the, hey, do you want to get together sometime? Are they asking that person? So in turn, are they responsible to pay? I had a guy tell me once, if I ask you, you know, what your availability is, and we set it all up.
Becky, is there somebody in your back seat, or am I tripping?
Yeah, no, it's my daughter just.
Okay, I was about to sound the alarm. What? All right.
Nope, I got mace for that. No, I'm just
okay.
Kidding.
All right, just checking.
And he said, however, if I plan this date, you have no say in it. And I was like, okay. And he goes, and if you do make a suggestion about a date, just understand you have the entire date, which means if we're together for 2 hours, you take care of all 2 hours. If we're together all day, you take care of all day. And at first I was like, oh, you know, that kind of makes sense. But in my carrying on with this person, he never was like, hey, do you want to go out? It was like we would have these conversations and nothing else would happen. So then the minute I'd be like, hey, am I going to see you again anytime soon or whatever, it felt like I was the one initiating it. So
for sure. Yeah. I was going to say,
the question is, if they talk about it first, are they paying for it? Listen, I'm already a little broke. I don't need to be even broke or paying for somebody else. I'll date myself. I'm a good date.
Right.
I would date me, myself, and myself.
And Becky, I think that just to add on to what you're saying there, I think it's also a red flag if you feel like you have to ask someone out that you want to ask you out because they're not asking you out.
Men, this is not just one. The amount of people I can tell you, like, that I have spoken to, say in the past 2 months, guys, it takes literally forever. And I could sit there and be like, are you interested? Do you want to see me? Are we just going to talk on the phone? Like, what's going to happen? And it's like, oh, yeah, we can figure something out. And the nonchalant, like, blasé attitude is just ridiculous. But it's not just one guy. It's so many of them. It just, Yeah, it's
I
disheartening.
have a take on why that is, Becky. I think that one of the reasons why that might be, and you guys tell me what you think about this. I think one of the reasons why they may be playing it like that is because if they feel like if they take the stance of, or they commit to, or they ask you out on the date, or they take initiative, let's so to speak, that now it looks like they're serious, but also sets them up for rejection. So they also they don't want to look like they're over serious or over committed by actually taking initiative, which is lame. But also the rejection part too, because what if I like her and I seriously try to take initiative, and then she just takes advantage of me and doesn't really like me. So that's one of the reasons why.
Go ahead, Lynette, and then after Lynette, I want Mr. Velvet on duty to answer that as well. Go ahead, Lynette.
I just want to say, to Becky's point, the dating pool is murky. It's and I hate to say there are no quality men, but I'm old school, not just because I'm 54, but like I believe in love. I do believe that chivalry is alive and well. I think it's not even Kenny made mention of something about the maturity. I don't think it's so much as the individual being so much as mature, because I've dated some clowns, but they knew how to treat me. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a lot of men that I've encountered don't have character. It's just about just being a good-hearted person and wanting. It's always what I'm going to get out of it. You buy me something to eat, you think you're supposed to sleep with me? We not doing that. Now, if I decide I want to sleep with you, it won't be based on a meal you bought or a bill you paid. You know what I'm saying? And I think now, because tapping into what Ryan said about some of the easy women, but even with that, that's immaturity, because you shouldn't judge me based on somebody else.
For sure.
Get to know me, and let's see what we're going to do here, because who knows? I might see you and we so attracted to each other, I can't wait to have you. You know what I'm saying? But that should be a decision that we make, not that you assume you're going to sleep with me because you're attracted. No, because you might open your mouth and I'm like, oh, you fine, but just don't talk.
Robbie Joe. Robbie Joe, back to the should I or the person asking for the date pay for the date? Do men feel obligated to pay for the date? Do you want women to sometimes pay for you? What is your take on that? I'm sorry, Mr. Velvet on duty. I'm so sorry.
It depends, like, where y'all are in y'all dating. There are times where, if you don't want to initiate, and you should be, because you're offering, you're looking to set the tone or whatnot. But I don't think it should be like women can't pay, women can't facilitate, because it should be both. Like, if we date, if we feel each other, then hey, let's both add to the frequency. I got it this time, next time you got it. Maybe we put it together, go 50-50, and you know what I mean? Like, let's figure it out before we start. Like, let's have the conversations about the finances and say, hey, what's your money really look like? I like to be on this level, and not on this level. I don't want to be out, out the range. You need to have your conversation early sometimes, so you know what you're getting yourself into, and that other person knows what they're getting themselves into, because you might vibrate on a whole different frequency financially, and that person may not be on it. They might want to be paid, and they can't provide the same back to you, so you should always let people know up front, like, where you are with yourself, how you like to be treated, and display that initially, so they know, well, this person may be out of my league, but they're all right. I'm gonna figure out what I can do to match that, to let that person know I'm still interested, versus no, I'm just gonna turn that person down because I don't want nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? It's so I say it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both.
It's definitely both.
It depends on where you are in the relationship.
And it depends on, like, even length of the date, right? So I had a guy that he and I were friends for a while, and then we decided, let's go out. But because we were so comfortable with each other already, we knew that it wasn't just going to be a little dinner or whatever. We knew that we were going to get together and we were going to spend pretty much all day. So what we did was, at various different points of the day and date, we took care of different parts of it. So, like, when we went and had coffee, I took care of coffee. When we went and had lunch, he took care of lunch. And then I knew he liked certain things. So I went and I got us, like, foot massages. And we both had foot massages. And I took care of that. And in turn, he turned around and took care of the later part of our date, having drinks together and stuff like that. It was a progressive date that the financial burden wasn't on any one person, and it was special because he picked certain things that he knew I would like. I picked certain things that I knew he would like. Again, because we were friends and we knew what each other wanted.
Right.
And it was probably one of the better dates I've ever been on.
No,
Sounds like it,
good.
unless
Well,
something
what
really bad
happened?
happened at the
I'm
end of that
waiting for
night.
what happened.
Yeah. There's a lot more to it than just spending good time. Right? Yeah.
And guys, I
sounded real good. Like I was watching, listening to a story. I'm waiting for the juicy part. I want to like what happened.
No, honestly, I could be real. Like at the end of that date, there was a lot of attraction. There was a lot of like real serious connection, but he knew that in his job that he was going to be moving soon.
Oh, okay.
And he didn't want to take that next step because he knew that if we were to take that next level, it wouldn't be something he'd be able to stay in because of his job. And he didn't want to do that.
I'm going to ask the next question, and I apologize if there is a delay. I'll ask the question and turn it over to Ryan and Shonda to facilitate. My next question is, speaking of dating, I want to know about initiating versus planning. When you're in the relationship, men, do you feel like you have to the women, I'm sorry, do you think the woman needs to plan all the time, or do you also find it good, women, that the men initiate the date sometimes? Shonda and Ryan, I'll turn it over to you to facilitate because I have a delay, guys.
Can I answer this question? I know I'm married, but honey, I still be dating and stuff. Because she told me I couldn't answer no question earlier, y'all. She mean to me. I don't want to tell you how she be acting off the scenes, but so I think once you start dating someone, you learn their personality or what they're good at. I've been married to George Roberts Jr. for 21 years coming this year. He ain't planning no dates. I'm telling you.
Chef, where you at? How long y'all been married, Chef? Where you at? I know you listening.
He may. Let me take that back. I do give him credit. But I think I could count on maybe one hand how many dates George has planned. But I'm okay with that because I know that's it's not that he don't want to go. He ready to ride wherever. Like, let's go, let's do it. But he's not sitting down thinking about, what can I take on a date? Or what can I, because this is not, he worry about feeding me. He worry about I'm going to Walmart, I'm gonna cook dinner, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But then there are times where he'll surprise me and he'll call me. When I get off, let's go out, go take a shower and put clothes on and go out. Where we going? I said, what's wrong? What you done did? Because I'm not used to him doing that. You know what I mean? So I think it just takes learning each other and understanding who's good at what. But that doesn't mean that I'm gonna pay every time because now we share money, but before I'm gonna pay every time because I initiated the date or I talked about the date.
But there's a difference between initiating and planning.
Right. Because I'm the planner. Yeah. I'm the one that'll go down and see, oh, they're having this weekend. Do you want to go do this? Or I saw this happening this weekend. Or do you want to go to this concert? Okay, then he'll be like, okay, then he'll buy the tickets. You know what I mean? So it doesn't mean that because I spotted the event and I saw the event, I think it's something cool we go to, that I got to pay for it. Now, I don't think that's cool, but that's my 2 cents. I'm going to let Miss Moody on duty to answer the question. She has, and then Kenny, because y'all quiet down there at the bottom.
I'm not quiet. I'm just listening. Go ahead, Kenny.
I am not quiet.
She did that. You go first.
I know, right? She just passed
she did that, right?
Okay. Yeah, I got it. But she good. It's not the fact that I'm quiet.
Listen.
And initiate a date and to plan a date, like she said, there's a difference. But at some point, you got men who work. You got men that's when they get over planning a date is the last thing on their mind.
Women work. I'm sorry.
They want to take a shower. They want to get a drink. They want to put their feet up.
Me too.
Women too. But if you got a woman at home that's always on Groupon, that's on the internet, that can find them little discounts, that can find the hookup, hook it up, baby. I'm gonna pay for it. Let's go. Because guess what? We working this thing together. You initiated it. We going and I'm paying for it. So together we having fun. It's not the fact that you taking the initiation because I want to go. I just don't have the time to look for it the way you do. But if you look for it and you call me and say, hey, I found such and such. What do you think? I love it. I'll be home in a minute. Let me hurry up and get dressed, shave, get ready, and we going.
This a female you already with, Kenny, or somebody that you want to be with or that you're interested in?
I'm just talking.
I'm just wondering though. It sounds like somebody that you already with, have an understanding.
No, right.
It's something that I've already been in. You know.
Yeah, right. You know, but what if you meet somebody? What if you meet somebody at church? You go out, you have dinner just with a group or something, and you're like, I'd like to see her again. You talk to her. At that point, early on in that stage, that's going to be okay. If I want to see her, I got to plan something, or I got to sit here wait for her to contact me, right?
Right. But if I want to see her, I'm gonna let her know I want to see her.
Right. So then in that case, you might plan a little something. Yeah, I think the question is important.
At that point, yeah, you know, I don't work 7 days a week, but at the past 2 weeks I have, but I don't work 7 days a week. So I'm gonna take my time out and go through my phone and find out what's available. You know, I wasn't sure about the question, TK. I wasn't sure exactly what the scenario was that you were asking about planning or initiating, and we were in a relationship or trying to meet somebody. I didn't really know.
Listen,
I didn't give it a title.
Let me talk.
Go ahead.
Okay.
They make plans and they make themselves available for what they want to do.
Yes.
Yep.
So I don't care if you work 7 days a week.
Miss Nicole Moody.
12
Mr.
hours
Moody,
a
repeat
day.
that, please.
If
Slow
that's
for
what
people
you
in the back.
want, you're going to plan it. I don't care if you tired. Listen to me. I can cook. I don't like cooking. I'd rather clean up. But if that's what makes that if I need to plan that, I don't have to cook it. Like I said last time, I can go to the cantina and get it, prepare it, put it on the plate nice and pretty. But people make time and make effort for what they want. Because as we get older, it takes two. It takes two people to do that. I don't care. Kenneth, I'm mad at you. You talking about you work 7 days a week. I don't give a damn if it was 8 days a week.
People make time for things they want, Miss Wednesday and every other Friday. People make time for the things that they want.
Hold on. I did correct myself.
She already got stipulations on when she can't.
Yeah, people make time for the things they want, Miss Wednesday and every other Friday. They make time for the things they want.
But those are her hours of availability, just like a store.
I'm messing with her. Yeah, we were messing with her. We went over it. I understand totally where she's at.
All the time. She's available at those times. But this is the reason why 5 of us on this panel are still single. And it goes back to what Lynette was saying in the beginning, how she wants somebody to come and find her. TK, you gave that advice to your girl. If we can't even get to the date and actually talk about who's planning, who's what, this is why we're still single, because nobody is even initiating the finding. So you got some ladies on here who are gorgeous and pretty and sitting here waiting to be found.
I think you're right, Becky.
Hours of availability.
I think you're right. I think real quick, I think that a lot of it has to do with way before everything we're talking about, which is, and I think I alluded to it in the last episode, which is just being in a situation to meet, to either bump into or have an opportunity to speak to and meet like-minded people or someone who's on your wavelength. Like that's first. You can't just try to jump straight into dating strangers. You can try that, but if you keep trying that, it's going to keep having these same results unless you kind of hit the lottery. I think really what it's about is finding an opportunity to meet people who are in the same ballpark as you or who are candidates for you and you for them. So like you talk about 5 people being single, I think y'all's biggest challenge is probably where I was, which is how do I put myself in a position to meet people who are the caliber, but also the pool of who I want to be with and who want to be with me. That's hard because you find yourself out here. You could go meet 50 men, but those 50 men are whoremongers, like you said, Lynette. Then it doesn't matter. It's not about how many men. It's the right quality men, the right age, the right family background, maturity, all these things. That's first. How can I live my life? How can I be around the people that I can meet? That then, once I maybe find someone I actually like, we vibe, then go to all the thing we're talking about. Hardest part I think today is, as we get older, especially, is finding that social opportunity that's not bars and lounges. For the longest time, you would tell me all through my 30s, you need to go out more often. I'm in my 30s, right? And I'm looking for a serious. You should go out. And I would look at him. I tell him, go out where? To a bar? I'm gonna find my wife at a bar? I mean, you might. People have, but that's not where I'm gonna go. She's not going out to the bar to find her husband. Generally speaking, she's going out to the bar to go to the bar. So to say go to the bar or the lounge to find your soulmate, or, so to speak, for lack of a better word, that's just a bad strategy. And that works when you're 22 because you can meet someone and spend 8 years and do other things besides the bar. But you're 40, you're 45, you're 55, the bar and the lounge, that's not the material you want to rub shoulders with. But when you get to be our age, that's your social pool right there, unfortunately, unless it's work event, church, whatever the case is. I think that's the biggest challenge for a lot of us
put church in there
as we get older.
Quite honestly, I wouldn't even put church in there because I've been a part of huge churches, like huge
here we go.
30,000 plus members.
Here we go.
All over Miami. And yet I would have people say, oh my gosh, they think you're so pretty, blah, blah, blah. But they won't approach you because you're their worship leader, which is a totally different subject, totally different whatever. They don't think that they think you're too good for them is what they would say. But I think the mindset's also that you have a bunch of women who are waiting for that finding, like Ruth was waiting for Boaz. I'm sorry. I need to live my life right now.
I hear you.
I need to live my life. I can't be sitting around just in a field doing like whatever. I need to be going forward, progressing in my life, moving forward. If somebody comes along somewhere, whether it's like you said, Ryan, work event or open mic nights or comedy clubs or whatever it is you're putting yourself into, and you find somebody, I think it all really boils down to the conversations, like the initial conversations. What are you looking for? What are to be able to find somebody who is in the right place at the right time. You guys are just building something, slowly together and progressing along. But the initiative's got to be there. And it's just what I'm finding is I'm on all the dating websites and I'm on all the whatever. They want to talk forever.
Yeah, that's why I say that's a whole different rabbit hole.
That's a whole different one. I have one last question.
Sarah,
and then I'm going to turn it over to Shonda. Go ahead, Ryan.
Sarah.
I'm sorry.
I was to tell Sarah, I feel you. Trust me, I know. Go ahead, CJ.
It's hard out there in those streets. All right, I have one last question. I'm going to turn it over to Shonda. And the last question for the panel is, when is it appropriate to you to introduce your mate to your friends or your family? Ha. Let's go. Who wants to take that first? Kenny.
Y'all like picking on me, huh? But it's all good. You got Mr. Velvet over there looking like Casey and JoJo. He ready, but
I'm going in.
Ready.
He ready. He came on here, but I'm gonna take it. But no, I mean, when is it appropriate to introduce your date, whoever, to your family?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it takes a minute for me to do that because you don't learn a person in a few months. You don't learn a person in a year, because this person can introduce themselves as, let's say, the golden child, the beginning of the date. But by the time we get 6 months in, now you're the rusted child. And now I see some faults. But
everybody has faults, Kenny.
I understand, but you asked the question, when is the appropriate time to introduce them to the family? So I'm trying to take my time. You go from the gold to the rust. And I want to take my time to make sure I don't have to put no oil on you before I take you to meet my family. Because if you start squeaking once you enter the door of my family, and now your rust shows more than your gold, I got a problem. Because I thought I had something that shines, but I got something that squeaks. So it's going to take me some time to introduce my date to my family, because I want to take time out to learn my significant other before my family get to know who she really not.
Fair enough.
Can I just add something for that, Kenny, for you real quick, and to the other people on the panel? If there's two things I want to, when you're dating, and I feel, this is Shonda's opinion, that someone will show you who they are within the first 6 months, or most of them. It depends on how much you've dated. Let me take that back. Because now if y'all see each other once a month, then you're not going to know who that person is. If you're not spending time together, a lot of time together, you're not going to know who that person is.
A lot of different experiences, Shonda. A lot of different experiences within the 6 months.
Exactly. So it depends on the situations you all have been in. Depends on who you've been around. It depends on a lot of things. So there may be something that happens in that year or don't happen in that year. They may happen 2 years later, and their response to that situation may be different. It may be something you may find out, or I may either I love the way they acted to this, or I don't like this about that person. But I will tell you, you will learn people at this age, at this time in our life, we are constantly either evolving or growing or being stagnant. So you're going to see a lot of change in people, I feel, as you get older, because either you want to fall back, you don't want to hang out anymore, or you want to do this anymore, or there's something, you know what? I have this new leash on life. Now I want to do this, and now I want to travel. Now I want to do this. Or I don't like how you said this. I don't like how you said that. I think if you're waiting for that perfect aha moment for a person to be perfect
it's
for you, to me, it's not going to happen. Nope. Because even at 40, I be lying about my age. I think I'm 46. Even at 46, even at 46, there are, and my husband's 40, whatever. We still are changing. We're still learning each other. You know what I mean? And we've been together forever and a day. So you're gonna always find out something new about that person that you're dating.
TK, can I piggyback on what Shauna said really quickly and contribute something? I think this is just a short, sweet answer. I think the answer to the question was when to the family, right? Plot twist.
Yeah.
Plot twist. I think if you're in communication with your family and you let your family know what your intentions are or what that level of relationship is with that person, you can introduce them anytime because your family already knows what time it is. So I've dated someone where I wasn't very serious at the time we were dating. We were just getting to know each other or whatever the case may be. And I introduced them to my family, brought them around my family, had a good time. But my family knew that I wasn't looking for a ring next month. Like they already knew what time it was. Oh, he's dating. They just met, or they're spending time, or they're hanging out, or she's still maturing and growing, and whatever the case was, they knew already. So I introduced them. But I think that the bigger question, what you're asking, is like, when you introduce your family, meaning it's representative of I'm serious with this person, right? I think that's the level that you're saying. Like when you introduce them to your family on some.
Like everybody has their own, I guess, the way that they do things. Like for me, I remember I shared with you guys at one point, my father just thought that I was like I wasn't even into men. They didn't see me with a man for like almost 10 years. But I was very strategic about not bringing a man into my kids' life or even around my family until I felt like we were going somewhere.
Okay.
So I wanted to know, were you guys like me? Like, how do you guys feel? When do you think it's appropriate to bring someone into the family?
What I was going to say was you do have kids. That's a whole nother dynamic. And I think you all can speak to that. But without the kids involved, my short answer was going to be, I think it's when you spend enough time with them, like Shonda was saying, and learn enough about them to feel comfortable about them being a reflection of the person you choose to spend time with. And you feel comfortable and confident about they're a reflection of me in a sense. And I'll bring them around at that point in time. That might take 6 months for Kenny. That might take, 9 months for somebody else. It may be 3 months after. But I think it's really when you're comfortable about enough to feel comfortable about them being a reflection of who you are and your standards. That's when you bring them maybe around the family. And you have potential too.
And I'll say this, and Shonda knows.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, Shonda knows my past, and she knows my past relationship. We dated for a while, and
not we.
We'll rephrase that.
Not me and Shonda.
knows the past woman.
George, if you listening, I ain't mess with her. I just call her my sister on social media. But no, we good. But no,
Shonda knows about your ex or that situation.
Yeah, she knows about my ex, and we dated for a while, but nobody knew because my ex told me I had a past.
Oh,
and she didn't want my past to affect our future. So before she introduced me to her family, or I introduced her to my family, she made sure that my past wasn't going to be an issue.
I see.
She didn't want any darts thrown at us.
Okay.
So, there's different tactics to this whole conversation as far as the time frame to introduce. There's different ways we look at it. There's different ways we're going to answer it. But everybody's going to have a different answer because everybody you meet is not the same. Like, let's say Becky. I meet Becky. We go on a date. Everything kicks in 24 hours. Bomb. The attraction is there. The fire is hot. We don't pour gas on it. We burnt up. Oh, turn the AC on. It's 50 because it's hot in here. But at the same time, at the end of the day, I don't know Becky. Becky don't know me. I'm not going to go to Becky's mom and say, hey, it's me. And she's not going to go to my mom and say, hey, I'm his girl, because we still don't know each other, right? It takes time.
It does take time.
Don't be putting your eye to
Absolutely
the camera.
Okay.
It does take time.
Okay,
Absolutely
Becky,
it
how do
does.
you feel about it?
And when you have kids, the time is definitely different. I don't want my kids to see a revolving door of men, serious
Right.
men, in and out of their lives. I don't know what these guys are bringing, nothing like that, right? It's easier for me to date a person in 1 or 2 dates and let them go than it is for my kids to also have to break up with somebody. But the whole thing, I don't know, you said something very interesting there, Kenny, because you said your ex wanted to make sure that your past was the past. How much of the past did she tell her family? Honestly, that affected their outlook on you?
It was an open book. Because if you lie, then you have to tell another lie to cover. So be honest and tell the truth.
But Kenny, just to clarify your statement, Kenny, what you said, basically what you meant to say, or I think what you were meaning was, my ex wanted to make sure that my past was in my past, and I was a new man in a sense in that area.
Yes, but
is that what you meant?
We can say that part too, but also, yeah, my past was not just my past. My past was here. It was like in front.
How much of your past did she tell her family? Because that's going to affect how they look at you.
All
of it. It's going to affect how they treat you. See,
all of it.
Okay, and how'd that work out?
I'm gonna interject. I'm gonna interject here.
Yeah, Becky, we know how that worked out. Yeah.
I got it.
Velvet on duty. I'm taking over. Velvet on duty.
No. I need Lynette to answer this question first, and then we'll go Mr. Velvet. Lynette, how long before you introduce your significant other to your family and friends?
Now?
No, her ex, the mongholger. What is he called?
No, the whoremonger, ma'am.
Let me help y'all out. I got something for you. Hold on. Let me help y'all out. This is what we're talking about right here. Just want to be clear. We're talking about a whoremonger. This is the definition.
Wow,
it's a noun, okay? Someone who consorts with whores, a leecher, or panderer. There we go.
Dang.
Person, place, or thing.
Well, I want to
speaking on your experience on that.
Right. I wanted to wait, but like I said, he came in speaking I'm ready to be a family. He was adamant about meeting my dad, meeting my mom, meeting my children. That I think that was more of the upsetting part. Just that goes back to what I was saying. Just be for real. He was a whoremonger. He couldn't help himself. He was just.
But that could be a little manipulative too, right, Lynette? I mean, I'm gonna get serious with you. I'm gonna show you I'm serious by meeting your family when you're really not. But that's a serious act,
right? And listen. I ain't gonna say too much because my mom might be peeking, so we just gonna leave it right there.
So, Mama Lynette, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Mr. Velvet on duty. Holla at the girl. How long before you show your family who you're dating?
You don't. No,
yes, there you
go. I'm just playing.
No, you ain't.
I think.
No, you're not.
Somebody summed it up somewhere. It's like when you definitely feel that level of comfortability, you don't took enough time to learn this person, and you believe that it's leading towards something. You know, you guys are moving towards a common goal, and it feels like the family unit is part of the piece that's missing for us to grow together. You know, now if we both don't feel that, then let's both not do that. But let's say you are dating, you have children, and it's like it'll be more convenient for us to, move forward that way so we can begin to blend our situation. Then yeah, but if you're a person with children dating somebody without children, it depends if that person can fit into that dynamic that you guys got going on, and vice versa if your time works with what that person has going on. So I would say it goes back to like making sure that feeling is genuine and wanted on both parties, because you don't want to, like you said, it's hard for kids to detach, it's hard for situations to change. So I would definitely say it's when you definitely feel it's time that our family is in on what we're doing so we can move forward. It ain't just me and you, so we can move forward. You feel me?
I feel you.
My last question. Oh, go ahead, Lynette. Go ahead.
That was real cute, Mr. Velvet on duty, and that title fits like what you just said. Because let me just say, and I've seen this a lot. Like I've seen men play the role, and I'm gonna bring my kids around because this how much I want to be with you when they looking for a babysitter. That's one. And then I've seen them also. Let's take our kids out together because we're gonna be a family. And then kids don't understand when y'all disappear. Let me just say that. They, sometimes kids internalize that, and then we're left to explain, even when it's not your child. I've seen men still do that. You stringing people along. Like, be for real. Don't involve these kids. I work in child welfare, and like when we talk to kids, they see Uncle Tony today, and then tomorrow is Uncle Mike. Stop meeting people, kids. If y'all just want to hit, say that. But you're gonna buy the little boy a little truck, and hey, little man, then we gotta stop playing games.
Can I say something to you?
You sure can.
In front of this panel, I just think we need to just take a moment to figure out.
No, we ain't got to pray.
No, hold on. I ain't saying nothing about
Okay.
Because let me see how I can sum this up the right way. Hold on.
Watch yourself.
No. I'm gonna give it to y'all. Real
2 hours later.
Take your time, Doc. Take your time.
There's a lot of dating. People are really not 100 with themselves, so they're looking for a distraction, looking for other things to add instead of figuring out how to replenish their own waterfall.
That's facts. Yeah.
So sometimes people don't give itself like breaks in between or whatever the case may be. But when you're dating and like you're more on point with who you are, it's a lot easier to filter out the nonsense that doesn't align with you. So it's still a time thing, and you can never be certain for sure because everybody has hidden agendas. Everybody has things that we cover up. Well, nobody here is perfect, but you definitely want to make sure you're not messing with them kids. You're not doing that. We all know people like that. We've all seen our friends go through certain things. So it's a conscious decision to say, you know what? If I'm going to be dating, I'm going to be dating with this expectation. Let this person know so they don't get their feelings hurt, or I don't get mine hurt knowing my expectations up here and you just trying to play down here, you dig? So a lot of everything what everybody said has been concrete, has been fire. I think I've learned a lot from you guys and just listening from the different perspectives. I've dated women in different categories. I mean, like different age groups and maturity levels. Like it don't fit what I got going on. So that's why I just been like, bro, I'm good on that because it ain't. So at the end of the day, there's nothing against nobody else. It's just I know I'm genuine, I'm unique, I'm rare. I'm a one-on-one and none to come.
Come on now.
I mean, I ain't gonna waste my time if it ain't on my vibration. I'm on a whole different assignment, and sometimes this is a solo journey. It ain't got nothing to do with you. I'm still trying to find me.
Come on now.
It ain't got nothing to do with you. I'm still trying to find me. So a lot of
I ain't got nothing to sip on, but I'm gonna sip to that.
No, some people have time for themselves to find themselves. So when they're dating, they're not even attracting a better version of themselves to complete themselves.
I like what you're saying with that. I like what you're saying with that, Mr. Velvet. Because the ironic part about that is you find out more about yourself when you're single, not in a relationship. So you got to stop dating, find out who you are. Then you test that and find out who's compatible with you. And there's that flow. So I think a lot of who's on the show tonight we're talking to, we've done a lot of that already. We spent some time alone. We know who we are. We're talking about now how we turn that corner, that next step. But everything you're saying is absolutely facts and true for people out there who need to know more about themselves. You're not going to find that with another person. They're not going to fill the void of you not knowing yourself. You got to find yourself and spend time alone.
Just tell people at all times, I'm 3 people. I'm having a menage a trois at all times. That's me, myself, and I. I don't got no room for all of y'all. This boat is filled. It's me, myself, and I. We got a lot.
Let him know, Robbie.
We got a lot going on. We got to get our stuff so we can do you. And
all right.
He on fire now. He ready.
All right, he on
fire. Our time is far well spent, but I want to ask my last question because I wrote it down because of something Miss Nicole Moody said earlier. And I feel that in all areas of our life, there are things that, and piggybacking off of what Mr. Velvet said, yes, it's true. There are things that we need to deal with first before we can even call ourselves dating or adding to someone's life or trying to bring them into our mess. And that may take some changing. And I heard Miss Moody say, I am who I am. I'm not changing for anyone. But, however, there are some things that we need to change. And those things that we need to change may be the reason why some of us are still single. And I'm not talking about y'all. I'm just talking about in general.
Shonda preaching.
I'm just saying, because that was me. I ain't changing for nobody. He either gonna take no. Shonda got a mouth on her. She had to change that. Shonda was hurt, so she had a wall up. She had to change that.
Hold on, Shonda. Hold on. You didn't have to change it. You realize if I don't change that, I'm not gonna get the man I want to get and stay with the man I want.
Exactly. It was a choice, right? So I had to make. You know what? Let me take a step back and slow down, because he's telling me either you do this or I'm gone. And the side of me from Rainbow City said, well, bye. And the other side who wanted to be with him said, you know what? I need to get it together, because this is who I know who's been treating me good, who has been respecting me, and I'm giving him lip because of my past hurt. So there are things sometimes, and it may not be as deep as hurt, but it could be maybe you are the one that says, I want to get married. If you ain't married me, get out of my face. Maybe you are the dude that says, I'm the prize. If you can't buy me dinner, I'm not going out with you. There are some things that we do need to change in order to be in relationships. So I'm asking the panel. You don't have to say what it is unless you want to.
This is the question you wrote down? Oh, my bad. Here comes the question.
That was my question. Do you feel, even though we are who we are, do you think there are things that you should change when it comes to you dating or starting another relationship?
Replace that word should with could, and it's a lot easier to answer. Probably.
You're talking to Moody?
No, I'm talking to the whole panel. Now the shoe fit.
Because for me, I don't feel bad at my age, at this time in my life with my children. My kids are my first priority. So if that means I may miss out on my knight in shining armor, I may miss out on that. But
Nicole,
yes.
What if you meet this man? You like this man accepts your kids, understands your availability, embraces your kids, and understands your kids are your first priority.
And that's great. And I'm okay with that.
Hold on. You better be okay with it, because that's what you just said you wanted, right? They're your first priority, so he's got to respect that and appreciate it. Say he does. And you're like, man, what are the odds? I meet a guy who really understands my priorities, and then also he puts my kids first. That's great, right? That's a prerequisite. That's the prerequisite, right?
Yes.
Then what if something between the two of you comes up and he says, listen, I want to be with you. I understand your situation with your kids, but X, Y, and Z happens. And for whatever reason, there's a disconnect between us because you have this tendency or this pattern of behavior when this takes place, and I don't quite understand it. Can we talk about that? Are you willing to potentially work on that pattern of behavior, or is it nah?
No.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you for breaking it down for me.
I am willing to, once we get to a certain point, and I am willing to work on that. I am not perfect. I
figured you would say that. I figured you would agree. I just didn't know if you understood where Shonda was going, because I think that's what Shonda's saying. If we get into a situation that meets our standards, then do we all have things we could probably compromise, work on, and
for sure.
That's all things. Right. But you have to keep that in mind.
Compromise is the key word for
keep that in mind.
But some of those things that you need to change
for single people, it is compromise, because once you get to a certain level, whoremongers, whatever, we compromise.
I'm gonna put that on the shirt.
I give Lynette all the credit in the world, because I know she compromised and she put aside her heart, her feelings, her whatever that she would not have normally done to embrace this relationship. And it didn't work, but I commend her for saying, I don't give up on love. I don't give up on love. I tell you, I didn't get married to get divorced. I will tell. So yes, but I'm just a little bit more
apprehensive. I get it. You have those standards and those prerequisites. Makes perfect sense.
But I will, and I understand, and yes, I will. So to answer.
Okay, Becky. I'm sorry. Let Becky go, and then you can go.
I think some of the opportunities, though, for change won't be revealed until you're at certain points in the relationship.
Yep.
There's a lot of, in the 9 years that I've been divorced, there have been a lot of things that I have changed about myself because hindsight, I was able to look back and go, if I would have done this differently, if I could have whatever, not saying that it would have worked out, it probably would have ended exactly the way that it did. However, I'm a better person because I've learned some of the lessons that I've learned.
Absolutely.
Being in a few relationships, it wasn't until we got to a certain point that I realized, okay, because this person's personality is like this, I have to tweak a little bit how I maybe say certain things, but I didn't know that until I was put in the situation. And I didn't know that until the person was forward with their, not only intentions with me, but also kind of what they expect out of a wife as well.
Right.
And if there were certain hardcore things where the guy was like, and I had a situation like that where the guy was like, no, I don't want you to talk to me like blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, okay, well then we're good, because I'm going to have feelings and I'm going to have emotions, and sometimes they're going to pop off and I'm not going to be able to control myself. And you need to just love me anyways. And I'll come back and apologize. I'll come back and fix. I'll come back and rework whatever needs to be reworked. But sometimes I'm just going to be raw, exactly who I am. But it's not until you get to certain points that you're going to be able to really see what you need to change.
Becky, back to the question. I think
we all adjust to what we want to give, right? Do you guys see it that way? I know I did that.
Yes.
I adjusted to what I really loved Pharaoh, so then I made some adjustments. He had to make some adjustments. Is that what you are looking for?
Well, I mean, let's be honest, not all sides of our personality are great, right?
Yep.
Like
if
I presented myself exactly the way that I am, first of all, I'm not even the same all the time.
Right.
I'm a different person right when I wake up in the morning versus the person you get after I get a cup of coffee versus the person that you get when you get wine. Becky, she's a little different. She's different, okay? You're going to get different sides of my personality through the day and as it goes. So I can't ever say that this is who I am and that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Are there certain hardcore things in my life that this is the way that they are? Yeah, just like Nicole. Hello, I'm sitting in a parking lot because my daughter has a prior engagement. And Becky, my life in between her things. But listen, you're available. I'm available on this day or this day. Let's make it happen. But my attitude, I mean, it's only going to be, it's like a lottery ticket. The more you scratch, the more layers. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you don't.
Lynette, I know you wanted to say something, Becky, to that point, into what Dr. Shonda Roberts was saying is, I think, well, go ahead, Lynette. I want to let the panel finish their thought.
You could probably wrap it up, Ryan, when she's done, or when they're finished.
I'll throw it back to TK after I. Yeah, go ahead, Lynette. You had something to add to that?
Just to say one, to what Nicole said. Yes, I do think that, I won't say compromise. I like the word TK used, adjust, because I'm not the same Lynette that I was in my 20s and my 30s and in my 40s. And one thing, I think like mid 30s, early 40s, I fell in love with me. And that was something that was missing from before. And I would accept things that there's no way I would accept it now. I felt like I just had to have a man. I had to have a certain type of man. And then if I wanted that certain type of man, I had to fit into what he wanted, or sometimes going against my own beliefs and morals just to appease him. And in that, losing who I am. Honey, I fell in love with me, and I love who I am. And it's not that I have a big attitude or I think I'm all that. I know I'm all that. And whoever God sends my way and he finds me, together we're going to be a force to be reckoned with. So that's why now I'm at the age where it's just certain things I'm not going to put up with. And it's not that I'm selfish or, I got it all together. I don't. But whoever is for me, we're going to bring out the best in each other. And I'm at that point now. I'm not looking for the best man. I'm looking for the best man. I'm looking for the best man for me, the one that's going to help me be a better Lynette. Yes. And also to that, like I I hear it. Okay, that's why we're still single. Baby, if I got to leave this earth and be single, that's fine. Because, like I said in the beginning, I refuse to go down the hill the way that I went up. I've been hurt, I've been broken, I've been disappointed. And that last relationship taught me a lot. A lot of times we put up with stuff hoping that they'll get better. I ain't got time for that. I'll be pushing up daisies, waiting on him to decide whether or not he doesn't want to be immature. He don't want to be a whoremonger, or he don't want.
Yeah.
When you step to me, know what you want, and we'll get to it together. Not saying we won't make mistakes or there's not room for apologies, but it's just certain things that I'm not tolerating in the beginning, because that's a deal breaker. We talked about deal breakers, and you broke the deal. Oh, it happened one time. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, because I'm out.
Yeah, because that broke your standards. You had standards, and that was against your standards.
Exactly.
So nobody should sacrifice their standards.
I love what Nicole said. It's just certain things, and she's entering 50. Babe, I'm here, and I want to enjoy the rest of my life. And it's just certain things I'm not going to tolerate, even from my children. The foolishness I put up with when y'all were younger, we're not doing that now. So you just got to come
maturity,
to you love yourself enough not to put up with the foolish stuff.
I think Lynette dropped some wisdom there. Don't know if y'all caught it, but you need to date who somebody is, not who you want them to be. And sometimes you play yourself by doing exactly that, and that can be a problem.
That's a whole other show.
Yeah, that's a whole other show.
Yes.
Professor A.B., you're talking.
Real quick, I just want to say that going back to what Becky was saying, I think that, or actually going back to what Shonda had mentioned with the question and all, I think that if you think there's not things about yourself that you could improve upon, you don't know anything about yourself yet. And you probably haven't paid attention spending time around someone else that's giving you feedback. Because that's a big key. So we all have things. The key sometimes is being around someone and being open to getting feedback about what they could be. Now, don't sacrifice your standards to be in a relationship. That's a different story. And I will say this, as we get older, because I'm not quite 50. So, but either way, I'm in my 40s. And so I think that when you get older, it's this fine line I hear Becky, and I heard a little bit from what Annette was saying, which was, well, some things they really are kind of concretely who I am. And they're not horrible things, but they're things that they really are something that I'd have to really refine my whole personality to be different. And I think that what I've found for myself is, you said about finding a man that's best for you, Lynette. Find a person that's best for you, which means finding someone who you can communicate to what your ways are and being able to accommodate basically who you are. And that's really what you're looking for. Hey, look, this is who I am, who I tend to be sometimes. I know it's difficult, and I don't know, fellas, you can kind of maybe testify this or not, but I know it's difficult, and I struggle with that. Just want to let you know, communicate it. And can you work with me? Can you, in these times where I get like this, can you do this for me? And we'll be better off. And I'll do the same for you. So sometimes not so much, even when you get older, changing as much as acknowledging, hey, I got this thing about me. I want to tell you up front, and I want to be open, accommodating to when this thing flares up or this happens. Can you accommodate me in the way that I kind of am? I'm not saying you got to accept it and it doesn't matter. It matters, and I know it affects you. Yeah. But can you accommodate me in this part of me and other things I can absolutely improve on? But I think that's important when you get older too. It's not so much I'll change all the things that don't work. Well, some things, that's a lot to ask, man. I got 45, 55 years of life. So this is really kind of what I struggle with, what I've always struggled with. I'll try to improve, but can you accommodate with me in the process? I think that's a different angle. When you get older, that one might make more sense than I'll change the things and totally be different than I am.
I like that, Ryan.
Yeah, that was good right there.
It was good.
That was nice.
TK?
All right, TK, it's on you.
Yes. So thank you. Oh, Sean, I thought I wasn't sure if you were finished with your question or if you wanted to wrap up your question.
You're right. I am finished. But I wasn't sure if Kenny or Mr. Velvet on duty wanted to answer. Since our women, all the women answered, maybe the men wanted to answer that. Do you think? No. Do you have things that you are willing to change? Excuse me. That you are willing to change?
Are the things about you that you have that if you get into a relationship, you could do some work on to make your relationships better, easier, smoother?
I'm adding this to that question because we be around friends, we're around people, we're in relationships, and someone may say, you know what, it didn't work out because I didn't like this about you, or it didn't work out because I didn't like this, or your friends may say, Becky, you're a little bit too defensive sometimes, or you take things too far. Or you, girl, don't even let me start with you. You take things too far, or you overreact, or things like that. I'm talking about small things at first. Yes, we all have bigger things that we need to work on, but I mean just small little personality traits or characters about ourselves that may kind of brush somebody the wrong way? Kenny or Mr.
Yeah, let's come out of the professional realm for a minute and let's go personal. Since we all got the degrees, we know what's what. We all adults here. When you say you enter into a relationship, you talk about the word compromise, give up this, give up that. But you got to realize in relationships, in life, men or women, we deal with hurt. We deal with disappointment. We deal with a lot. But when you face with a strong woman that has everything lined up for herself, and then you deal with a man who's been in a situation where he's been hurt, but you don't know he's been hurt. How do you handle that situation? Or vice versa. If you deal with a woman who's been hurt, but you got a man who got his stuff together, how do we deal with that situation? How do we come together and compromise that when we don't know because the lack of communication is there? But to be on the flip side, like I said last time when we was in this conversation, I screwed up a lot in my life because I was hurt, but physically I was ready. Mentally and emotionally, I wasn't. So here's a situation to where honesty becomes the number one priority. Because if you physically want something, but you're not physically and mentally ready for it or emotionally ready for it, you're going to mess it up regardless, no matter if you compromise with the person who you really want to be with.
I mean, that was Cube G answer my question. What is Kenny Day going to change? Or can Kenny Day change? Should Kenny Day change some things about himself before he starts a relationship? And maybe overcoming that hurt may be one of them. Maybe you're taking that into another relationship. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because we all have something in our life that we have lingering. And it may come out in relationships. Like, for instance, there were certain things George said to me that triggered me, and he didn't know he was doing that. So there are things that I needed to still work on getting healed or working past what I felt was triggering me, or even communicating that to him because he didn't know it. I just got mad with him and cussed him out because he didn't know what he was doing to me. So that's something I had to work on, communicating that with him. Look here, I'm gonna need you not to say this, do this, come here close to me, stuff like that. That's what I mean, like, so that I'm not the one that's causing the problem or pushing him away because I'm not telling him that I need him to work with me on this situation. No one's going to be perfect in a relationship. I don't care how long they've been in it, how long they're going to stay in it. Nobody's going to be perfect. But communicate and let them know things that go on with you so that they know how to deal with that situation with you.
And as I said, the lack of communication was my issue. But when I came to the reality that on my part, and when I came to the reality that the lack of communication was my problem, was my downfall, I had to go back and say, okay, I'm at a point now, I understand where I went wrong. So can you forgive me for this? Can we take the next step and move forward from here? You may hate me because of what I did, but you can still be my friend because I want to come to you and say, I'm sorry. You don't even have to accept me as a friend, but I'm going to be man enough to say I screwed up. And I was willing to accept my fault. But are you willing to accept my apology?
Appreciate you. Well, thank you. I'm not trying to rush up. I know a lot of y'all been at work all day and I don't want to keep y'all anymore. I don't work for nobody, so
I love it.
I'm not even. Listen, I got about 15 more minutes before I got to leave.
No, but Ryan's been in the classroom all day.
I've been talking the most, and I got to go. I've been the one talking the most, and I got to run, y'all.
So we're gonna wrap it up with Mr. Velvet, then we'll close it out. Ryan,
repeat the question real quick because I was kind of caught up into what he was saying, just so I can make sure I sum it up correctly.
Do you think there are things you should change?
Yes, of course. We're ever evolving creatures, and we should always be on a path of growth. We should always be looking at our flaws and our shortcomings and how to outgrow them. And again, the word will be replenish. We should always be looking towards trying to improve others and encourage everybody to want to change for their betterment. You know what I mean?
Nice.
The work starts with, like, a lot of times we want to change everything else, but everything else, your world is a reflection of you, really. your mindset and what you're putting out. So yes, you should always be wanting to improve on yourself, and your person or person that you're interested in should also be on that path to a certain
Amen.
They're also changing, and you guys can change together. Y'all like-minded individuals. So yes.
Agreed. Totally agree. I'm gonna give that a round of applause right there.
I love it. The reason why we had a panel on here, I want everyone to understand that everyone has a different viewpoint. Everyone has a different perspective. We're all in different stages, and that's what I love about this show, is that there is no right, there is no wrong. You do whatever it works best for you. I love what Lynette said. I'm looking for someone. First of all, he gonna find you, Lynette. But when that person finds you, he's the perfect man for you. So whatever is good in what you're looking for, stick to that. And most importantly, don't you ever compare what you are, if you're single or if you're even in marriage, don't you ever compare it to what someone else has, because we don't know what they're going through. And the love thing, and how I'm going to end it on this note, is that I think Lynette said this too. Before we can love anyone else, we first need to learn how to love ourselves. Learn what we like, what we want in a relationship. And the number one thing is not just communication. I always hear in a relationship that the key is communication. To be honest, the key is listening. You got to comprehend.
Say it again, friend. Say it again, bestie.
Someone can talk all day long, but are you listening to them? That was one of the hardest things that I had to do in my marriage. Is Pharaoh was telling me how to love him, but I was loving him the way I wanted to. Are you listening to the other person? And so it is about comprehension. And so I do want to leave on that note. I can't thank you guys.
That's a whole nother story, but I'm not coming back because I got practice.
Ain't nobody asking you to come back, girl.
You talking about practice, not a game. Practice, not a game.
We are going on a 2-hour show because that's just how good this is. And I just want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for being here once again. But to all of those who are listening to us, please come back every Monday. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel at Talk Miami Talk Show. And then after this, if you want to listen to the podcast, you can find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts and wherever you get podcasts. Guys, I cannot thank you enough. Like I said, thank you all for being you. That's what I never wanted anybody. Thank you for being you. And guys, thank you for an amazing show. With that, we're all going to say goodbye. But you know what? Before we go, I do have to plug my sister, Dr. Shonda Roberts. Can you tell us about the Teen Summit that's coming up? And we'll wrap it on that note.
Yes, the Teen Summit is coming up.
You better be more enthusiastic than that.
Wake up, Shonda. She's sleepy, man. It's 9:30. She's sleepy.
Wait, let me mute her.
She's sleepy.
Our 5th annual Empower Me Teen Summit will be Saturday, February 25th at the J.L. Joe and Enid W. Demps Park.
It's in Goulds Park,
formerly known as Goulds Park, 11350 Southwest 216th Street. We are looking for sponsors to sponsor the event. We feed everyone that comes to the event. We have giveaways. So we would love for you to please sponsor us. All information is on our website, paying2purpose76.org. Reach out to us on there or message me on our social media, which is paying2purpose76. Our Teen Summit talks about teen dating violence, suicide, depression, bullying, self-esteem, entrepreneurship, and I believe we have financial literacy on there as well. Please sign up your groups, your classes, your students, whomever, and we also have a parent talk session. So don't just drop off your children, also stay with them as well so that you can find out how to help your teens while they're going through certain things. We also have CHI that just agreed today that they will be there on site offering resources just in case you have children that may need further help, further assistance. So please, our website again is paying2purpose76.org. Thank you so much.
Yay! So everybody, we will see you next Monday, same time, same channel. It will be us. And guys, I thank you so much for everything. And with that, bye everybody. Y'all.
right, ladies. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Night, y'all.
Good
Wait!
Oh, good
Oh my God! Wait! I just want to say, I feel like, well, I already knew Lynette, but I feel like Becky and Robbie, Mr. Velvet, Kenneth, I love you. We were famous for 3 weeks.